Our next speaker is born to Cuban immigrants, raised in Puerto Rico, honored in Sundance, and today she shapes the next generation of creative talent as Dean of the Roger Hatchell Student Academy right here at Calienes. It is my absolute honor and pleasure to introduce Lissy Calienes.
I might make you cry. I might cry. But after that, I hope that I do the honor of entertaining you at the very least. So thank you for the invitation to be here. This is a privilege. It's been an emotional journey to actually write this. I've been going very deep and learned a lot about myself. So thank you for letting me share it here today. So, I need the clicker. Hold on. I think it's a theme here. I think I'll get the microphone. Thank you. Let me get the stand. Okay. So I was born in the U.S., in Wilmington, Delaware. That's me in the really funny hat. To Cuban immigrants. I was raised to understand that family was the most important thing. I was also raised because in my culture, women sacrifice everything for their families. It's what love looks like. It's what you do. It's the story that I inherited, and it's the story that I told myself. At 13, my parents moved from Wilmington, Delaware to Puerto Rico because my dad wanted to desperately be closer to the beach. And as much as culture shock as that was for me, it was something that really formed me. 8 years later, I graduated from the University of Miami with degrees in advertising and graphic design, determined to be a creative. I went back to Puerto Rico. I started to applying to advertising jobs very confidently, with the dream of someday winning a Lion. With no luck, I transitioned to magazine design, and I decided that that was not for me. So after that, I put an end to a really bad marriage, and I left. I went searching for myself. I hadn't known I had been with the same person since I was 14, and I married him at 22. So when I divorced him, I went to find me, and I went to look for new soil, for new opportunities. By 2005, I was working as a production designer in the film industry. I had a film at the Sundance Film Festival, while I kept applying to agency jobs because I hate taking no for an answer. So when I finally got comfortable, I'm at Sundance, I had a film, I was feeling really accomplished, I got uprooted. After 10 years of applying for jobs, I finally got my job offer to be an art director at Conil as part of Saatchi LA. And my partner is videotaping me right now, so they're filming me right now. As very young creatives, we started our journey together, so it's a privilege to have her in the room. But I had two dreams. I wanted to be a mother, and I wanted to be a creative director. I wanted to create work that moved people, and one day find myself in a room like this and deserve being here. But I was 33, and I was clear I wanted to be a mom. So I quit, got married again, and disappeared. And I can say the industry doesn't really miss you when you disappear. So I went underground, or so I say. I went underground, but I actually went to Dominica in the West Indies. And I had this vision, right? This is the AI version of myself, right? Thanks to my husband for helping me do this as a little comic relief. I thought I was going to channel all the Mother Nature energy, and I was going to be pregnant on the beach and with a flowing dress. And I spent 16 months looking for that. And it didn't happen. So reality looked something like this. Again, thank you to AI for helping me. I was stuck in New York, faced with the fact that I had to get a job. because my husband was still a student. He was studying medicine at that time. So I became an art director in New York City, which was a dream that I had, but not quite the way that I envisioned it. Am I going to have to sing now? New York, so timely. The days are made of. So yes, the corner office, I always joke that the corner office I got, which I was on an 8th floor corner office that looked to the Chrysler building, had a column right in the middle, so I couldn't actually see the building. But anyway, I had a corner office in New York City. Thank you for the music. In the meantime, my roots were growing in darkness. Sometimes they were holding on. Other times they were finding new paths or even new soil to continue growing. It was 2007. I knew I was playing in a man's world. So I hid. I hid that I wanted children. Behind the scenes, I carried the grief of a 7-year journey to get pregnant. I was afraid. I was afraid that if they knew that I wanted to be a mother, that I would stop being seen as serious, as dedicated, that I wouldn't get promoted. I was afraid that wanting a child would make me somehow smaller in their eyes. I had already spent a decade trying to be taken seriously in rooms that were not made for me. So eventually, I made it, right? I got promoted to creative director. I was managing the Latin America region for Saatchi and Saatchi X. I was in Miami. I got pregnant, baby on the way. And after 4 years, I was laid off when I was 8 months pregnant. Yes. And that happens in the US, actually. There's no protections as long as they fire 50% of your office. So in the span of 39 days, I packed my house. I moved to Gainesville, Florida, small town north of Orlando, if you don't know where that is, where my husband was completing his residency in emergency medicine. I started a consulting business with a partner, and I bought a house. And then I gave birth to my son, Gio, January 11th, 2012. I need to take a breath. They say that storms make trees grow deeper roots. Life made me look for new soil again. Two months after that, I was working again. 8 months later, I went back to school and started a master's degree in interior design, retail design, actually. Then a PhD, because one of my professors told me that I was too curious to not do a PhD, so I said, okay, why not? So 8 years later, I finished my PhD and eventually got a job as a university professor at the University of Florida, teaching advertising creative. It took me 29 years to get to Cannes, but I didn't come with a lion. I came with my students for the first time. It turns out that all of those roots and connections that we're building were still part of this majestic tree that was growing. And that's what the root system does. I don't think it's a coincidence that my first commercial ever with my partner, done for Toyota, was called El Árbol, the tree. We discovered that today in a conversation over lunch. I hadn't even made the connection. Today, I connect students to people I mentored in the industry. I open doors for them, doors that were never open for me. I have the privilege to take students to Sundance 20 years after I went for the first time. I take students to places that I was not let into. And for the last 2 years, I have had the opportunity to serve as the Dean of the Cannes Lions Academy, the Roger Hatchwell Academy, where I mentor 30 students from 30 countries. A huge privilege. So I may have one son, but I have many children. They are my students. People celebrate the tree. They celebrate the achievements, the titles, the awards going on right now, the milestones, the PhD, the company, the students at Cannes, the intentional, somewhat assembled, impressive-looking life. Now I know that the roots that you grow underground in darkness are doing the work. They allow the tree to grow steady. And the wider the root system, the broader the tree canopy. I like to think that my tree canopy is healthy, but I know that it would never be the case if I hadn't worked on the underground system to support it. The tree is what we see, but the roots are the real story. Thank you for letting me share mine.